We're on Lough Erne again today, and we're taking a look around this beautiful Cranchi Zaffiro 34. This is a 2008 boat powered by a pair of Volvo Penta D4 260HP Sterndrives. And we're here today, we're going to take this boat out for a spin on the lake. We're going to do a sea trial video on it to show you how this boat performs on the water with this pair of engines. But it's a 2008 boat, it's got 697 hours on the clock, and it's in beautiful condition. Here we go. We'll get her on tide, fired up, and take her out on the water. So we're out on the water now in the Cranchi 34, and I've been running for 10 or 15 minutes. We've shot a bit of shore side footage so you can see how the boat runs from the shore, and now I'll walk you through the dash. But it's a really nice running boat. Actually, performance is great. Bags of power, gets up on plane quickly. It'll cruise comfortably at anything from around about 19, 20, 22 knots, and top speed is about 32, 33 knots, and everything here looks good. So I'll walk you through the dash, we'll put it on plane and you can see how everything's looking. But we've obviously got the EVC electronic vessel control, throttle and shift, so nice smooth throttle and shift controls. We have our engine instruments up here, so Volvo Penta gauges, 697 hours on each engine, the exact same hours on each engine. Well, that's just tripped over to 698 there. But the same hours on each engine is always an encouraging sign. It tends to mean there's been no breakdowns over the course of its life. Trim gauges, we're trimmed fully down. This is our rudder indicator, so it shows you what your steering angle is. That's all working. These are little warning lights, no warning lights on the dash, which is good. Then we've got, you've obviously got your digital displays that you can cycle through all of your digital information, but the important stuff is repeated here on these analog gauges. So we've got our voltmeter, oil pressure for the port engine, temperature for the port engine, fuel level, 3/4 of a tank of diesel in this thing, temperature for the starboard engine, oil pressure for the starboard engine, and voltmeter for the starboard engine. So everything looks good as well. Even whenever I was running full speed, the temperatures, pressures, everything looked perfect. This is the new Raymarine display, so chart plotter with the charts of Lough Erne on it actually, so it's full Ireland and UK charts as far as I know. This gives us our speed reading here also, 4.8 knots, just a tick over, so that's just minimum idle speed. We've got our autopilot controls here, trim controls for the engine, EVC controller down here, bow thruster and trim tab controls. We've got a Raymarine speed and depth log. This is giving our depth of water, 7.3 meters. The little paddle wheel is obviously blocked or not working because that's not reading speed, but we have GPS speed here anyway, and that's a fusion controller. So steering is obviously nice and light, hydraulic steering, and everything looks good. The boat is nice and easy to maneuver as well. We'll take it down here and we'll turn it. With the combination of the bow thruster and the twin Sterndrives, it's very easy to handle the boat in and around the marina. You can put an engine fore and aft as well if you want to, you know, spin it in its length without using the steering. She is quite responsive to that also. So yeah, it's all really good. This Raymarine stuff is all brand new in the last year or two, as is the Fusion, but it's running really nice. So just tipping along at, you know, 1100 RPM. We're doing 6.7 knots, no wake. So if you were cruising around the inland waterways, you can sit at this speed and have a conversation with your passengers and you'll not be upsetting anybody on the shore. So let's slow it down now, and we will do we'll do a turn with just with the steering angle straight ahead, just one throttle forward, one throttle in reverse. And you can see she's rotating there nicely. Just give it a wee bit more juice. So that's brought us round nicely. And what we'll do now is we'll put the boat up on plane, so we'll give her full throttle to get her on plane, then bring her back to cruising speed. Here we go. nice and fast, so you've always got forward visibility. You can tweak your running angle with a wee bit of trim tab. And that's us doing, we're doing 2400 RPM, 2400 RPM at each engine. We're running at 20 knots exactly. Oil pressures, temperatures are all good. And this boat's very maneuverable, so if you do want to chuck it through some turns, even at relatively high speeds, it'll do that. So we're in a narrow little bit of the lake here, but we can chuck it around. Stays on plane. Stays on plane without any throttle through the turn. We can line back up again. Do a full speed run here now, so that's us at about 3,300 RPM, 32 knots. Full speed, it was about 3,300 RPM on each engine. We were doing 32.5 knots or thereabouts. With a wee slight bit of drive trim and just a touch of tab. There's a bit of a crosswind today, so you do need the tab just to level it up a wee bit. But yeah, running really nice, this thing. Everything working, all the temperatures, pressures, instruments all saying what they should say. The only thing that's not working is the little paddle wheel on the speedo on the Raymarine display, but because you've got the GPS speed, you don't really need it. So yeah, lovely running boat. One last thing I like to do on twin engine boats is do like a single engine pull on each engine, just to make sure that we're pulling the same revs on each engine, so you know that the two engines are making the same power. So you want to have both engines in idle forward in gear, and then we'll do the starboard engine first. So you do a full throttle pull. It's taking us up to 2200 RPM, so it's going up to 2200 RPM on that engine. I think if we left it there, it would go a bit harder, but the supercharger's just in the point of kicking in, so it would climb a bit from there. But 2200 on the port. All we want to do is make sure that it's doing the same thing on both engines. So now, oh, sorry, starboard. So let's do the port engine. Again, full throttle, idle forward. And we're doing 2200 RPM on that engine as well, 9 knots. Again, you can feel it just building ever so slightly. So that's really good, and you can see the rudder indicator working there as well. If I swing the wheel, the rudder indicator's working too, so that's good. That's a sign that we've got two healthy engines doing the same thing. Temperatures and pressures are pretty steady across the two engines, and the boat is doing everything it's supposed to do. Just rocking back through a rake here now. But yeah, this is a lovely running boat. Performance is fantastic. Up on the plane very quickly. Two engines are running really strong. The controls are nice. We've got a bow thruster as well for ease of manoeuvrability in the marina, and all the right instruments. This Raymarine chart plotter is a great job, and the autopilot's handy for coastal cruising. Yeah, it's a beautiful boat. It's running fantastically well, and really fun boat to drive. I really am a big fan of this thing. I think it's going to be a pleasure to own for her next owners. We're going to head back into the marina now. We're going to do a full walk around video tour, so keep an eye on our YouTube channel. There'll be a separate video with like a walk around review of this boat, showing you all the accommodation and the features inside it. This has just been a sea trial video to show you how this boat performs on the water with the pair of Volvo Penta D4 260 horsepower Sterndrive engines. But yeah, lovely running boat, doing everything it's supposed to do on the water.